Hey everyone, welcome back to Toolmat Gaming. We are continuing our series of campaign diaries, and today we are featuring content from a creator who goes by Snicklesocks. Make sure to check out his stuff in the video description. Stick around to the end for a special new feature to our videos. And now, on with the show. Our story picks up with our beloved heroes returning victoriously from battle with a necromancer. They find themselves in the Golden Brewery located in the beautiful city of Two Banks. It is bustling with patrons, and Balin, the beefy, heroic dwarf paladin, is hunting for another good deed and possibly a few coins. He glances over the patrons and sees an older man with wild eyes and shabby clothes. The man makes eye contact with Balin and invites him over with a nod. Hey there, how are you today?
Oh boy, the drinks are flowing and I'm getting a buzz. Why don't you sit down with me and have a drink?
Don't mind if I do. My name's Balin, what's yours?
Everyone calls me Stimba. I can see you have an eye for adventure. Well, if you don't mind getting stung, I have a task that could net you some sweet honey, if you know what I mean.
That sounds great. What can I do to help?
There's a failing farmstead on the outskirts of town owned by the Leffreys. It seems they have a bee infestation. Rid this farm of all its bees and bring me the honeycomb, and I will make it worth your while.
As long as there are people to help and gold to be made, you can count on me. Balin returns to his compatriots and shares the details of the job with them. They each question why adventurers would be propositioned for a beehive removal. Obsidian, the ever-bee-fuddled warforged, wonders about the size of beehives. Nith, the dragonborn druid who can befriend anyone, considers how she could keep some of the honey for herself. Drillbit, being as silent as ever, hears that they are traveling to a farm and feels hints of emotion beginning to buzz in his head. Nervella, donning a bearskin cape like a jacket, decides that she is going to befriend some of the hive. The party knows that they are limited in time, and if they want to complete this job, they need to take action quickly. They depart from the Golden Brewery out of the town and towards the Leffrey farmstead. Upon arrival, Balin knocks on the door, and a man wearing colorful clothes answers. His face seems young, but shows the wrinkles and gray hair of an older gentleman. Hello, dwarf, knocking on my door. Is there something I could do you for? My name's Balin, and I heard you have a bee problem. So you have come to dispatch the hive. Please be careful or you won't leave alive. Can you tell me a little more? The hive is in a moving container. When left unprovoked, it couldn't be tamer. If you attack the hive or its flowers, the hive will show you its true powers. Okay, do you have any idea where it came from? We think the hive came from guarding the stocks of the tower that belongs to Snicklesocks. And why is this thing here? Who knows why the hive is on my property? It has certainly not been my cup of tea. Fair enough. Can you point us in the right direction? It wanders a field full of flowers and weeds. I'm sorry I can't give you any better leads. That's quite alright. I'm sure we can find it. We'll be on our way. The adventurers begin their hike in search of a walking beehive in an overgrown field of wildflowers. They search high and low for signs of the hive, but to no avail. The party treks on when Nith alerts the party to a low-volume hum. Using the hotter-colder method, what was once a quiet hum is now a deafening, buzzing sound. Ahead of them lies a field full of beautiful and thriving flowers. Sweet smells float on the breeze. Lavender, lily, earth, and the slightest hint of honey. Suddenly, they spot a bear running across the field in the direction of the party. It grunts and groans as it approaches. Nervella notices that the bear looks injured. Obsidian and Drillbit take aim at the injured animal, but hold their attack, waiting for just the right moment. The bear, sees the group, and out of fear or self-preservation, it follows its instincts to alter course away from the danger ahead. The pair of warforged warriors lower their weapons and allow the bear to pass. Their focus moves ahead. Just in the distance, they see a rusted, mud-caked suit of armor walking behind an old fence, clouded by a swarm of bees.
It seems we have found our target.
What is happening here?
It looks like an animated armor, but it seems bees have made it a home.
Is that normal?
Not to my knowledge, but honey is known to have faint magical properties.
What is our goal here? Do we need to destroy the armor, or is there some way to disable the suit so we can get to the hive?
Smoke can put bees in a calm state.
I have a block of incense.
I have an idea.
Okay, I need to pause because this is a pivotal moment in our campaign. I wanted to reward my players' creativity and come up with a quick mechanic by which smoke could disable the function of the armor. If the armor began its turn in smoke, it would need to make a save against a 5d8 sleep spell. So if the roll is higher than the creature's current health, it goes to sleep for 1 minute, essentially pausing combat. Obsidian proceeds with his plan and begins combat. Essentially, the party is done planning, and it is time to rumble, and any further planning is done on the fly. This is a pattern for Obsidian. He is quick to act before he thinks through his actions. Now, Obsidian's plan is to set the field on fire with his Firebolt cantrip. I make up a burning field mechanic to say how far, fast, and long a fire will burn without fueling it. I am sure you're all thinking, yeah, this is typical D&D stuff. But the real fun happens when Drillbit observes this plan in action. If you haven't had a chance, go back to listen to Episode 1, The Ballad of Un-bee-Marley, and you will get a better insight as to why this plan sets off Drillbit. The following conversation is directly from the encounter, word for word.
Do not harm these flowers. They are organically superior beings. Bees are necessary for germination. This is an inappropriate series of actions.
Superior is subjective. They burn well to smoke out the bees. Once burned, the field will have new nutrition to regrow.
This is not undergrowth. Flowers are not to be destroyed, Artificer.
Flowers can be regrown in a season. It will take much longer to replace you or our allies.
Do not seek to lecture me on this subject matter, as it is central to my programming. It would be more beneficial to tie the incontinent dwarf to a rotating chair and officially fertilize the field forever, rather than risk these delicate plants with impulsive destruction. The hive appears out of control and must be managed.
Obsidian launches a firebolt at the feet of the bee armor, and the party moves into action. The hive, roused by the flame but much too strong to be quelled by the smoke, moves the armor to attack the closest foe, Balin. The armor smashes each of its bee-filled gauntlets down on Balin, then looks directly at Obsidian, and a line of bees jettisons forward from the eye slats like some bee cyclops from the X-Men. Obsidian tries to evade the attack and takes minor damage, thankful that he is made of metal and not organics. He readies a second firebolt, and just before he releases the spell, he calls to Drillbit.
The fire will only aid the farmer by composting the matter back to Earth.
Obsidian sends another bolt into the field, spreading the fire further. Something stirs deep inside the mind of Drillbit. At once, he feels the need to terminate Obsidian. He feels betrayed by his new fellow Warforged, but also conflicted as to what he should do next. He takes his heavy crossbow, and his hands waver as he lines up his shot. A slight adjustment, and the bolt would find its mark squarely in Obsidian's back. The bolt is loosed, and it glances off the armor that is full of bees. He questions whether or not his shot missed because he had the wrong target.
Perhaps I will aid the farmer by recycling you.
Balin recovers from being slammed heavily and retaliates by taking his hammer with both hands and swinging it across his body. The blow lands solidly on the back plate of the armor, knocking it forward. The armor catches itself just as Nith takes a conjured flame and tosses it at another part of the field. The smoke becomes thicker, and the vision of the armor becomes obscured. Nervella takes out a block of incense, lights it, and sets it at her feet. She realizes that this may not help the plan, but it may protect her from the bees. The bee armor, surrounded in billows of smoke, falters briefly and then raises itself 10 feet off the ground and moves past Balin towards Obsidian. A deafening sound grows from the armor, and the entire party is shaken by the noise. The armor then raises an arm above its head before launching a ball of bees directly at Obsidian. The bee ball crashes against his chest, knocking the robot back. Obsidian sees that his plan will work, but the armor is not weakened enough to be affected by the smoke. He pulls out his force pistol and fires a steady shot at the hovering armor. The shot strikes a leg plate and blows a chunk of metal away, exposing part of the hive. Seeing the armor falter, Drillbit sets aside his rage for the moment to complete the task at hand. He pulls out 2 short swords, rushes forward, leaps into the air, and slashes at the buzzing bee suit of armor. The swords shoot sparks into the air as they gash 2 long holes into the breastplate. Balin in this moment notices 2 things. The first is that the places where the armor has been damaged are being repaired by the worker bees. The second, more pressing issue is that the field where he is standing is now engulfed in flames. He leaps out of the flames, somersaulting awkwardly toward the infested metal man. With the armor hovering overhead out of reach, Balin readies his hammer for the moment the armor gets close enough. The cleric, Nervella, ever ready to offer aid to her friends, sends a healing spell to Obsidian. Nith, seeing that the armor is trying to repair itself, pulls out a wand and fires 6 magical darts. They zip through the air, drawing purple lines of arcane energy as they seek out their target. The armor begins to sink, and as it comes down, Balin grins, pulls out the hammer over his head, and brings it down on the helmet of the animated armor full of bees. The armor shudders, and the smoke that is rising from the field begins infiltrating the hive. The bees begin to grow sluggish, and the armor slows to a halt. The party sees that they have the upper hand and briefly discuss what they should do next.
Should we finish it off?
I have a bedroll. Do you think we could tie it up in my blankets?
That does not seem wise.
It looks like the honey has restorative properties. You can see the hive is rebuilding as we speak.
So, we should finish it off.
We are employed to get the honeycombs and honey. There is no need to destroy the hive.
Everyone? It's starting to move.
I want to catch some of these bees.
I have need of the armor material.
Guys?
Crack! Balin brings the hammer down directly onto the chest plate, and the hive spills out of the armor in pieces. A dark cloud of bees swarm above their heads before exploding outward in a wave of destruction. The party is overwhelmed by the attack and suffers multiple stings. The swarm, still being fogged by the wildfire, disperses from the area, leaving the heroes victorious. Next episode, we will learn what the party does with the honey, how Drillbit seeks retribution for the scorched earth tactics of his team.
Hey, you made it to the end. Congratulations. Thank you to my D&D crew for voicing their characters. Thanks to Snicklesocks for letting me use his animated armor full of bees. And now, at the end of the video, if you would, do what all YouTubers tell you to do. You know what that is. And as a special treat, here are some ducks.